This building has a lot of history. It's been here a while, so it's really cool to see cutting edge technology blend with a building that has great importance and history and see it come together.
You can touch 2 buttons basically and have the whole system up and running. And then from there, it's just a matter of, unmuting a mic or 2. The camera does all the automation itself.
Our goals in this project was to bring simplicity, automation, respect of the space itself, and then obviously quality. We wanted to build a system that elevated the space instead of made a distraction.
When they walk in the room, they're like, where are the cameras? And you show them where they're mounted in the ceiling. I think it just creates a better experience, because what you want from an audience perspective is to experience of, wow, I can see people online and the people online can see people in the room. I can hear everything well.
We really wanted to make it blend into the space. We put 4 speakers on each side that are on the edges of the perimeter, and then we also put 2 subs, 1 on each side as well. So the sound really does encapsulate the area, and you have sound no matter where you're sitting.
The old speakers we had, there's some feedback between the mics. It wasn't always working properly, and then for the camera system, we had to bring in manual cameras on tripods. If there was a Zoom meeting in here, we'd have a meeting owl, or daisy chains the meeting owls together to make that integrated for a board meeting and stuff like that. So there was always a little bit of an inefficiency in the space.
We wanted to create a system that is as easy as walking in, and you go to the Crestron Control interface, you can press start, and you're pretty much off and running. At that point, the Automate VX system can take over, and really, with minimal setup, you're able to have a production quality meeting space. But the other factor of our system is we wanted to give them the ability to be able to dive deeper into the configuration. So that's where we provide audio inputs and outputs so they can bring it into a mixer board.
The integration of the system is really great because it's all behind one computer. You can have a speaker speaking to 20 people, or you can have a large choir with a piano and 100 people in the audience. Both those are run by the same system.
So with the Automate VX system, we wanted to ensure that we have full coverage of the space. So we put 6 PTZ cameras around so that no matter the configuration or where people are sitting, they'll be picked up.
I don't have to touch anything. The cameras are automatically swapping back and forth between whoever's speaking at one microphone to who's ever speaking at the next microphone. And so having that ability to now hear and see, even if you're not in the room, that's just been an excellent upgrade.
So the microphones we used are MXA 920s, so they're the brand new Shure beamforming ceiling mics. Each mic has 8 individual lobes. Those tie directly into the cameras where we position the lobes facing different positions of where people will be sitting. So whenever these individual lobes pick up that there's someone speaking, that talks to the cameras to be able to know when to look and position itself at participants at what time. And Shure has some pretty advanced IntelliMixing. So it goes through a bunch of aggressive algorithms, and it's making sure that it's coming in clear and gets rid of any noise that may be persistent or you don't want in the mix. We have a Acoustics core, that's our digital signal processor. We have a mix of handheld microphones that are Shure Microflex, and we utilize ducking so that whenever there are handhelds in play, those override the ceiling mics. So you're able to prioritize the audio of the person holding the microphone without it mixing with the ceiling mics and getting duplicate audio.
The wireless aspect of it all really just keeps the space clean, and it keeps the full space usable. So you're not worried about tripping over cords and running into potential issues with where mics are, where cameras are. We
really prioritize listening and understanding the purpose of our systems that we put out. So sitting down, our team really took time to listen to what Iliff needed and what they were asking. We went through a pretty extensive setup process with Crestron. They were extremely supportive. The initial setup is actually pretty complex. So you're importing room layouts, table layouts, seating charts, and you make different scenarios for each arrangement.
The scalability is just insane because you can do something with one microphone and one speaker to a choir of 70 people, and it works the exact same way.
We really care about the long-term relationships. So it's more than just, hey, let's get a cool system in. It's let's get a cool system in that fits what you guys need, and let's make it scalable, and let's build that relationship so that we can work with you guys in the future and scale it and bring it into the future as technology changes.
So after doing a couple of conferences, I've had a lot of just compliments on the integration of online participation, the amount of like compliments we have now of like, this is so great, like how is it all even integrated? Like I can hear and see everyone in the room. A lot of problem solving, I think, has gone into the system to make that work, and I think that's really cool.